Hi, everybody. My name is Shannon, and you're watching another yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time, welcome. This is a channel about yarn, knitting, crocheting, having fun, and hopefully some enjoyable chat. And who knows, maybe one of us will learn something along the way. It's worth a shot. Anyway, sit back and relax and enjoy the show. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I greatly appreciate that. This has been a lot of fun. I have so enjoyed talking to each and every one of you, especially the people who've left me comments. I feel like I get a chance to get to know you, and hopefully you get a chance to get to know me too. So that's been enjoyable. So if you have been here before, you know Joann's is kicking it. Joann's, as far as a local box store, a big box store, has really been killing it on the yarns, and I've really enjoyed that. Lots of things with Joann's. And you also know that Michael's, my local Michael's, I think I've gone into like the last 6 times. I stopped counting after 6. Haven't bought anything. Their yarn department I keep going. I have hope. I keep going. Well, they sent me a $5 coupon the other day. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I went to a different Michael's. I was not next to my local Michael's. I did go to a larger one. I did go to a different one. I got to see some of their new yarn, this loops and thread facets in a color that we know I love, right? This got this yellows and greens and gold. And can you see that glimmery sparkle in there? I thought it was a myth because, like I said, my Michael's doesn't carry anything like this. This is so soft. I'm like, I had to get it. I did. So let me tell you what it has in this. This is Loops and Threads Facets. It's an acrylic blend. It is 279 yards, 256 meters, 100 grams. So that's 3.5 ounces. It is a number 4 medium weight yarn. So really nice for people who have issues with their hands and they don't like to work with smaller yarns. This is absolutely perfect for that. It is really soft, nice to the feel. Feels good right up around the neck, the skin, etc. So really good. Crochet hook, use a size 8, crochet hook, use a size J, 10 millimeter or 6 millimeter, size J. Knitting needles, it's a size 8. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to swatch up both of these and see what it looks like crocheted knit. I mean, it is super soft. It has that roving feel, right? So that right there, just from my personal experience in the past, might not be the easiest thing to rip out. So whatever you decide to make with it, you might want to be a little bit more careful with it just in case, but we'll check that out. And then this is a glittery one. I'll put some pictures of the other ones that they had for glittery. I didn't get their names. Oh, wait, this name. This really pretty one, like one of my favorite colors, obviously. This is color number. Well, I hate that. So we don't have a name for it. It's color number 110LX. That's no fun. Anyway, that's this one. But they had their regular facets. This one doesn't have the sparkles, but we can see why I went for this. Look at that. See, that's like the hair, right? I like oranges. It's a thing. So this one has all the same specs. It's color flame, but this really doesn't have a name on it. Oh, sad day. Really? So I have flame and I have mystery. And you can see that little bit of sparkle is the difference. It's very subtle, but it is there. Very, very light, thin. Oh, really pretty. So let's go ahead and test this out. I'm going to pause here, test out. There you go. Alrighty, here we are, going ahead. I've got my J hook out already. Making a slip knot. Going to chain some, just a nice piece right here. Very relaxed, very comfortable. How do you hold your crochet hooks? As you can see, I have the pencil grip, pen grip, pencil grip, different things that it's being called. I grew up using the Susan Bates crochet hooks, which is what this is. There are so many options and varieties for different people and different needs. You've got wonderful options for big, huge handles if you have issues as far as that's concerned. You need something else bigger, larger to hold on to. If you have arthritis in your hands, I hear that helps amazingly. So happy that those options are available. So I'm just doing, I changed some, I don't know how many. It's a swatch, it doesn't matter. And I'm just going back and doing some double crochets. Just to see what that looks like. It feels really, really nice. What should I make with this? You see, I've got this gorgeous color right here, and I've got that orange. I could make one project with both together or separate projects. Definitely go back and get more. They had some wonderful colors. I was kind of in a hurry. I took some pictures, and that's about as, I got some yarn barf there. You know, that seems to bother people nowadays. I grew up with that and it would pop out like that and it just didn't even bother me. I mean, you know, it's like not a big deal. I thought it was always fun to get to that point that you're back to the new skein, right? You know, you've worked through that center part. That was always a goal of mine. It's the same thing I did when I'd start a project that I didn't like or, you know, got bored with, whatever you want to, right? We all do that. If it's not fun, move on to the next thing. So when I'd start a project that I didn't like, I didn't always rip it out right then. Sometimes I waited until I needed that yarn and then I would do that. And it was fun again to use that. And once I got back to the original skein, that was always nice. Kind of like the sock blanks for the people that are knitters or crocheters for that matter. And you've got a knitted fabric that you're pulling out. And that's what you're working with your socks. So I don't know, maybe I was cool long before it was time to be cool. Okay, so we're seeing this right here. So you've got a little bit of snagging action going on. That's the fuzz and the halo of that yarn catching on itself. So you have to be real careful and just kind of tease that out. Or, you know, you can, you know, like I'm doing, I just ripped it right there. That will make a difference in your product. It'll look a little bit differently, right? Removing some of that halo. So that right there tells me that this is going to be something that will be difficult to pull out. You'll have to have patience, work at it slowly. For those of you young men and women in this group that are of a certain age, you might remember the Dazzle Air brand. That was just the height of sophistication back in my day. It was a mohair type blend of yarn. It wasn't really, it was all acrylic, but it had a fuzziness to it. And that right there, when you made a mistake, you had to really be careful with pulling out. It left fuzzies and things along that line. So who in my crowd remembers that stuff, right? Those were the days, weren't they? So as far as working it up, absolutely no issues. So I've got a row of double crochet. This is the second row of single crochet. So yeah, that's working up nice. Very smooth, easy, comfortable, a very nice feel to the hand. You will have this right here. So be patient with yourself, be patient with the yarn. If you were like me, you bought it because it feels great. It's fuzzy, it's soft, it's wonderful. So you just have to work with its characteristics and its quirks. And that's okay. We're all a little quirky in our own way, aren't we? I think that's what makes us wonderful, beautiful, and unique creatures. Probably shouldn't have done so many stitches. Takes a little bit longer to go through that row just to see how that looks. That's okay. I enjoy chatting with everybody. Look at that. Look, oh, I'm starting to get a little bit of a color change. Can you see that? A little bit of a difference. All right. So one of the things I noticed is this is coming out, right? I've got this and it's coming out in this chunk. Again, I don't mind that. It is what it is. It's just the nature. But do you see this? Do you see this end right here? That's the end. This is the other end. This is the outside end. So maybe you've had this, maybe you haven't, but you can see right here, that's pulling right here. So the outside end is stuck on the inside and that's what's causing the tangle. So if you can find that and we can get this to pull back out, there we go. So now that's the outside, it's outside. That won't snag on itself. So that's what was tying up for that. So sometimes if you get that outside edge back from the middle, it stops tying on itself and you'll be so much happier. Just thought I'd let you know that in case you weren't aware of that. All right, so those work up really, really well. I'm going to grab my knitting needles. I like that. That's nice. I really like that. I think since it's got that beautiful subtle sheen, which, I like my sparkles, working up something along that line, hat, a scarf, oh, some mitts would be really good. This is going to be something that I believe will also fuzz up, but I don't know that for a fact. I haven't washed it with a roving nature. It seems like since it does stick to itself, it may fuzz and or pill. So high wear items or high wear areas, like if you were to make a garment, your underarms, I think would end up showing some pill on that just from natural everyday movement. Again, I don't know that for a fact. I am just guessing that because I haven't worked with this yarn before. This is my first time. So I just picked up the stitches to go ahead and see what that's going to look like. So let's do some knit. These are some of my Knitter's Pride short needles. I enjoy them. I've got a needle collection because just like with your crochet hooks, you need a few extra tools, right? When you go to look for a certain size, you can't find it. Why? Because it's in another project somewhere. And whatever size it is, you're like, why? I don't even use that size. Well, evidently you do. It's somewhere else. Stick it on itself. You see the fuzzies in there? You see that nice strand? Hopefully it's showing up well. Okay, hold my hands down a little bit farther so maybe I won't get that banging of my needle. Maybe I should have got the smaller cables after all. That's all right. Live and learn. So while I'm working on this and you can see the differences, do you watch tutorials? Is that something that you're interested in? And if you are, what types of things are you interested in learning about or projects? And are you more interested in crochet or knit or combination? Do you like doing both? I have a feeling, and I don't know that for a fact, that a lot of the people that watch this channel are crocheters, and I'm not sure if I have many knitters. I learned to crochet as a little girl, and that was something I used to make all sorts of things. I did Christmas stockings, and I would give them away at school. Or for fundraising at the end of the year around Christmas time, I would make stockings. They're about this big. Right here. I'll have to bring one. I have some that are at least 25 years old. So I would make Christmas stockings and I would sell them for $1 a piece to my classmates. And maybe put like one of those little miniature candy canes in it. I did that too. But I was always making things, even as a child. This was even preteen. And I taught myself how to knit way back then, but I didn't have anyone around me that knew how to knit and could help me with finessing the skill. So I learned the knit stitch, I learned the purl stitch, I could do some things, but I didn't make anything with it. Crocheting to me was so much more forgiving. It was a lot faster to execute. So I'm having some more issues with this on the snagging for the knitting than I was with the crocheting. I think this was a little easier on the crocheting. So I didn't have anyone that, encouraged me with the knitting to continue on with that. So I put the knitting needles down for literally decades and picked them up because I liked more of that fabric that the knitting gave. I liked the way that it felt. I liked, hey, for another thing, if you are somebody who maybe you do, maybe you don't have a lot of money for crafting, knitting's the one you want to try. And the reason being is knitting uses about 30% less yarn than crochet. So if, like I said, money's an issue, there's a route to go. That really is. So let's see. I like the way that feels. It did give me some snagging a little bit. I kind of had to fight with it, a little bit of splitting with the yarn for the knitting that I didn't really have with the crocheting. I like the drape of it. I like the feel of it. For me personally, I would probably go down a size on the knitting needle from what they recommended. It depended on the pattern and the drape. This will give a nice drape. I think if you chose to, it would be, even with this size knitting, or even a larger knitting needle for that matter, going a larger knitting needle, you'd have more holes, right? So it would be lacier, it would be more like that, and then put cables in it. You can do those big oversized cables. I think that would really be quite the stunning look. This would be an interesting hat and or cowl for me. You could even do like I've got here with the crocheting down here and the knitting and intersperse. You could do something like that and make a very, very unique piece. So this is what the knit side looks like. And this is what it looks like with pearl back here. Overall, I really like the yarn. I think it is very nice, very soft. I think, here, let's try to pull it out. I think you'd have to be patient with trying to pull it out because of the nature of the roving style. And you saw just from pulling it out of the skein where it was wanting to pull on itself. Okay, so far so good. Oh, it was so far so good. So you can see that right there where it snagged a little bit. So you have to tease that out. If you have the little tight sharp embroidery scissors, you can cut that just to make sure it's just that one small area. You can see how that's right here stuck. So you could do something like that. So it would be a slow process to tease it out because you don't want to ruin all that fuzz and that halo. It will make a difference when you reuse it. So this isn't something that you want to take in and out. You'll end up over fuzzing here and end up breaking the yarn. So I'll leave that as there. I think you've got the idea as far as that's concerned. Let's see, what else did I forget to tell you? So it was acrylic and polyester. Obviously the polyester is the sparkly thread. Where's the washing instructions? Do we have anything special for that? Hand wash cold, do not bleach, dry flat, do not iron. Okay, easy enough. I can see that. I can see why you would want to do that. So there's my instructions and everything on there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. It has been absolutely wonderful talking with each and every one of you. And see you next time. Bye, everybody.